Did the Los Angeles Rams find a draft steal in this year's NFL draft? We're going to break it down on today's episode of the Rams Report, presented as always by Prize Picks. Because, guys, I think sixth round pick CJ Daniels could be exactly the kind of steal we are talking about. I'm not saying he's the next Puka Nacua, but some people are. There are some people out there saying he has similar traits, similar steal level to what the Rams got in Puka. And obviously, Puka's 1 in a million, but in that same level of this guy could be way better than people are currently giving him credit for, and a massive steal for this Rams team. So on today's show, we're going to dive deep with CJ Daniels. We're going to get to know him a little bit for those of you who are not too familiar with the Rams' newest addition in the receiver core. We're going to meet him a little, and then we're going to talk about what we've been hearing out of camp from both sources around the NFL and head coach Sean McVay. Then we're going to talk about how CJ wins, how he can be best used at the NFL level, and what his role is likely to look like early on with this Los Angeles Rams team. So let's start by getting to know Mr. CJ Daniels. He has played a lot of football, my friends. Obviously, his time at high school notwithstanding, he's also played 6 seasons of college football. And we're going to walk through his entire journey, but it totaled up 3,000 yards across his 6 years, the first 4 of which were spent at Liberty. 2020, 2021, 2022, and 2023, he was one of Liberty's top receivers, especially in that 2023 season, though. This was by far his best season at the collegiate level. You really got to see him shine as the focal point of an offense for the Liberty Flames in 2023, a team that was incredibly good, might I add. This team went on to a 13-1 record, their only loss being to Oregon in the Fiesta Bowl, where I will add they did kind of get pounded, 45-6, just absolute dismantling of Liberty in that one. But, I mean, ultimately there's levels to college football, and that's a game where you kind of see that in. But CJ Daniels, an enormous part of their success during his time at Liberty. He goes off that season and transferred to LSU, took a step up to the SEC level that honestly maybe he wasn't quite ready for. You look at that 2024 year at LSU, and it didn't really quite go CJ Daniels' way. He still had a role to play in LSU's offense, but I think he personally was likely hoping to be much more involved. And then at Miami, the final season of his career, he transferred once again to go join the Miami Hurricanes, helped them go all the way to the national championship game, obviously coming up short to Fernando Mendoza, the first overall pick in Indiana. But he found a much steadier role with Miami, not Indiana, than he did with LSU. He got back to being a little bit much more productive, especially when you look at the touchdowns. He had a much more significant role with Miami than he did with LSU at the end of the day, but obviously not nearly as productive as he was at Liberty, where he was used, I think, at his best. Liberty, he found his best role, and he was obviously the focal point of that offense. But you obviously see enormous levels of efficiency during that season at Liberty, almost 20 yards per reception versus 11.4 at LSU and 11.1 at Miami. So now we kind of understand CJ Daniels' journey throughout his college career. We've got a sense for how things have progressed for him across his college journey, and we've gotten to know him a little bit. Now, coming up next on today's show, I want to talk a little bit more about how this guy wins at the NFL level, the good things we've been hearing about him out of training camp from both Sean McVay and some other NFL experts. And then lastly, what his role is going to look like on this Rams team, not just in year one, but as the years progress throughout his rookie contract and hopefully even beyond that. But before we get to all that, I've got to give a shout out to our presenting sponsor here at Chat Sports and on the Rams Report, Prize Picks, America's #1 sports picks app. Guys, if you are a regular viewer here at the Rams Report, you know all about Prize Picks, my favorite way to play daily fantasy sports. But if you're brand new to the channel or you've never heard of Prize Picks, there's no easier way to play daily fantasy these days than with our friends over there, guys. All you have to do is pick from 2 to 6 players. You're selecting more or less on their stat projections, whether it's points, assists, rebounds if you're going for basketball, hits, home runs, or strikeouts if you're going for baseball, but they've also got season-long projections on professional football. You can go with the less on Fernando Mendoza, the less on Jeremiah Love, and the more on Jordan Tyson if you guys want to tail or fade my lineup. It is super easy to do at Prize Picks because they've also got this awesome social feeds feature where you guys can drop a follow on all of your friends and your favorite creators, including me. I'm Jackson Durham with no spaces on there. And you guys can quickly go on, see that lineup, and tailor fade it with just one click. But before you do that, make sure you use our promo code when you're signing up for Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to receive $50 in lineups. That's code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to get an extra $50 in lineups with Prize Picks. The clickable link to download the app is in the comments and the description below. As always, thank you to Prize Picks for sponsoring today's video. Let's get back to talking about CJ Daniels. Because, guys, there has been a lot of internal excitement about CJ Daniels. A lot of internal feeling from this Rams organization that they got a steal with the Miami receiver. And again, I'm not trying to make a direct Puka comparison. I'm not trying to say he's the next Puka. But it does kind of remind me of the buzz we heard that offseason around, hey, this kid out of BYU is a lot better than people realize. This guy out of BYU is a lot better day one than anybody gave him credit for being. And again, I'm not saying CJ Daniels is going to have a Puka role in year one. Largely, if for no other reason, then the Rams just don't have that kind of need for a rookie to step into the spotlight the way they did in 2023 when Puka joined this team. But we're hearing really good things about CJ Daniels, and we're hearing really good things about all the Rams rookies, to be completely honest with you. And if that gets you fired up the way it gets me fired up, then drop a like on today's video, guys. Get this video out there to more Rams fans because it's just one more thing to get excited about for this 2026 season. As if there wasn't already enough for us as Rams fans to be excited about right now, I feel like we've also got one of the best draft classes in the league. But here we go. Justin Mello, one of our NFL experts around here, he had a quote on CJ Daniels. Here's what he had to say. The Los Angeles Rams, who arguably committed the heist of the decade with Puka Nacua, no late-round wide receivers. Internally, they were thrilled with getting former wide receiver CJ Daniels with a 6th-round pick. Again, you continue to hear that internally there's a lot of excitement around CJ Daniels. He continues, Daniels is an advanced route runner with a high-level understanding of spacing and leverage. Sean McVay will understand how to scheme him open after he had 550 receiving yards and 7 touchdowns at national champion runner-up Miami. Again, 100% agree, especially with what he said there at the end. Because Sean McVay, he is a huge voice in that draft room. Les Snead and Sean McVay, they make decisions in tandem. And he's not adding a rookie wide receiver like this if he doesn't have a vision and if he doesn't really love what he sees on tape from him. And McVay's already praised CJ Daniels. He's already spoken highly of him at training camp, or excuse me, not at training camp, during mini camp, or OTAs. They canceled mini camp. Gosh, during Rams OTAs, Sean McVay had this to say about CJ Daniels. He's got a maturity. He had good-looking eyes. You feel his presence even just in the meeting room and his engagement to be able to answer questions. But again, it's really early on for any of these rookies. But I liked his body of work, liked the background that we did from people that you really trust and value their opinions. And I don't think it's a surprise that this guy is incredibly mature because he's an older rookie at the end of the day. He is an older rookie who spent 6 years at the college level, and that factors into a number of his skills. But that's where I want to go next with this is let's start talking about how CJ Daniels wins and what CJ Daniels brings to this offense. Number one is just great ball skills. He knows how to frame up for the ball in the air. He knows how to win for a contested catch. He knows how to leverage his size and his athleticism to go up and get it. He is somebody who wins for contested balls. He is somebody who can be that kind of red zone threat if he develops and hits his ceiling. He's also, and this is incredibly important for the Rams scheme, a skilled and willing run blocker. You saw that a lot at Miami. You really saw it at Liberty. He is someone who is willing to get his nose dirty as far as run blocking goes. And that's not the case for every wide receiver. Not all receivers want to participate in that. It's something that can get you hurt. It's something that the diva receivers don't usually want to get involved in. CJ Daniels is not a diva receiver. He is willing to participate, and that is absolutely 100% required of every receiver on the Rams offense. Number three, he has good awareness. He understands spacing. He understands leverage. He understands how to beat zone concepts. And he knows at this point in his career how to be quarterback friendly. When it comes to the scramble drill, he knows how to get back, how to make himself open, how to break off the route and just play backyard football in moments where his quarterback needs help. And then lastly, that all factors into his football IQ. But I think you also see his football IQ and also just his IQ in general with how quickly he was able to pick up and adapt and join in on new schemes almost the last 3 years of his college career. His final year at Liberty, his first year at LSU, and then finally his final year and first year at Miami. He was learning new schemes all 3 of those seasons. So again, I think when you look at this guy's skill set, he reminds me a lot, and as you project out what his role is going to be, he reminds me a lot of the same skill set as a Puka Nacua, as a Jordan Whittington, and even to some degree as a Terrence Ferguson. He is that same style of oversized slot wide receiver. And I think that'll be his long-term role, is the guy who plays behind those guys, the guy who has a rotational role in this offense, taking some of those slot snaps when Puka's out wide, taking on the role from Jordan Whittington in due time. But I truly think he's in the same vein as all 3 of these guys. And I know we didn't really see as much of that from Terrence Ferguson last year, but I expect that that will be his role this season. And with Jordan Whittington, I just don't know that Witt's that long for this Rams roster. I think he's somebody that they're likely to let go in due time, and that's where CJ Daniels factors in as the backup to a guy like Puka Nacua. Puka Nacua has dealt with injuries before in his career. If that comes up again, you need a backup you trust and a backup who offers something similar stylistically. He's obviously not Puka Nacua. Again, I'm not saying that this guy's going to come in and give you 1,400 in his rookie season, but I do think they offer some of the same style. He's like diet Puka Nacua. He's the poor man's Puka Nacua, you might say. And I don't say that to denigrate him. Even being that is incredibly complimentary. I think he's going to have a big role with this Rams team over the next couple of seasons, one that's only going to develop given time. But let's talk about his rookie year. Do we think he's going for more or less than 500 yards, guys? Let's play a little prize picks in the comments. I want you to leave your prediction. Give me a more if you think he's going for more than 500 yards. Give me a less if you think he's going for less than 500 yards in his rookie season. Let me know in the comments, guys. Make your bold predictions today, and I will see you guys in the next one. That's going to round it out for us on today's episode of the Rams Report. As always, we appreciate you tuning in, and I'll see you guys tomorrow where we're going to be breaking down some of your Rams hot takes. Don't miss it.